When it comes to new model launches, they don't get much more important than this. This is the new Hyundai Kona Hybrid, which is a vital new small SUV player in the market. I'm going to tell you what you need to know about it in this review. Just keep in mind though, I have done a full detailed rundown of the entire Kona range. Hit the link in the description below and I'll bring you an EV review of the Hyundai Kona Electric very shortly as well. So please stay tuned. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Let's take a look at the Kona Hybrid in detail. Just a reminder, I have done a full detailed review on the entire Hyundai Kona range up until this point, but this video is just focusing on the hybrid versions. So let's talk about the entry-level model. It's just called Kona Hybrid, and it's $36,000 before on-road costs. Now, to me, that seems like pretty good value for money, considering you do get a bunch of really good equipment included in that base model car, like alloy wheels, LED lights. You've also got a really nice 12.3-inch touchscreen media system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the interior looks and feels pretty good for that kind of money. But if you want a few more features, then you need to step up to this model here, which is the Kona Premium. It gets some extras that you will probably appreciate. It gets better LED lighting on the outside. You've also got heated and cooled front seats, a heated steering wheel, heated rear outboard seats as well. Plus, there's also built-in sat-nav with live traffic updates, connected services, and a fully digital instrument cluster for the driver in place of the more basic system in the entry-level version. And if you want your Kona to look sporty, you can choose the N-Line package for the hybrid models as well. It's a few $1,000s more. I don't really like the look of it, but you tell me what you think in the comments section below. All right, let's consider some of the best alternatives to the Kona Hybrid. The best alternative, and I think the best option in the small SUV segment, period, is the Toyota Corolla Cross. It's a very practical, compact SUV with hybrid powertrains available across the range, and it's super duper real world efficient, and it's really fun to drive, and it's fast, and, well, honestly, it feels like the best option in this class all round. It doesn't have as many annoying safety systems as this car either, so it could be a really good choice for you, and it is very practical too. The next best option, I reckon, is the Honda HEV Hybrid. Yes, it is quite expensive, that's its biggest issue, and it's got 4 seats, which might be another reason why it is ruled out for you. But if you can afford it and you don't need 5 seats and you just want something that does have real world efficiency and a really classy interior, then the Honda HRV HEV Hybrid could be a really good choice for you. Another option that is very closely mechanically related to the Hyundai Kona Hybrid is the Kia Niro Hybrid. They share a powertrain, but also they have some pretty different looks to them. So I can understand if you like the look of the Kia more, or maybe you just want a 7-year warranty instead of 5, but hey, I reckon that it does have some nice attributes to it. It's just a bit too expensive. It's the same size as the regular Kona, so no surprises there, but it does have a slightly different look to it because it's got some aerodynamic elements to the front bumper. It does look just a little bit different. I don't think it's unattractive though. Look, there are some people out there who really are not a fan of the look of this car. I reckon that it does have a bold presence to it. I'm just not as fond of the back end, but tell me what you think in the comments section below. I reckon the rear is maybe just a little bit busy with the tail lights right at the edges and stuff, but look, I'd love to know your thoughts. There's no real difference when it comes to the interior and the design and the practicality on offer. As I mentioned, if you do want to check out my full detailed rundown of the interior, hit the link in the description or at the top of the screen there and you'll be able to do that. But we need to talk about the boot because, well, it's a hybrid. So is there any compromise? Let's have a look. This one here is the Kona Premium, so it gets an electric tailgate. It's a little bit slow. Now, the boot space is actually pretty good. It's the same as what you get in a standard Kona, and that means that you've got plenty of space to play with. It's a pretty practical little car. There's also a space saver spare wheel under the boot floor as well, which is a nice thing to see in a hybrid, especially. There's a few little storage pockets on the side, well, just one, and a storage shopping bag hook here, and one on the other side too. So, oh, and there as well. They're everywhere. And it's pretty practical. It's got a little net in this version as well, so you can secure things in safely. Yeah, not too bad at all. Under the bonnet of the hybrid versions of the Hyundai Kona, there's a 1.6 litre petrol engine. It's not turbocharged, but it does have the assistance of a battery pack and electric motor. That's what makes it hybrid, obviously. And the electric motor is actually integrated into a dual clutch automatic transmission. And that is a different point for this car compared to the non-hybrid version. So it's a different transmission. It drives a bit differently. I'll tell you about that in just a second. And all versions of the Kona hybrid are front wheel drive. So, let's see what it's like to drive. Okay, before we set off on this little test drive in the Hyundai Kona hybrid, I'm going to do a few things on the screen here because there are some really annoying safety elements to this car. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to go into settings, and then I'm going to go into vehicle, and then I'm going to go into driver assistance, and then I'm going to go into speed limit, and I'm going to turn that off, the speed limit warning system, because it's annoying. Then I'm also going to go back here to the driver attention warning, turn off forward attention warning, which turns off a little camera here on top of the steering wheel, which monitors your eyes and will interrupt your drive experience to tell you that you're being distracted. And it's really annoying. All right. Also, the shifter is one of those ones that's on the steering column. You twist it forwards to go into drive and backwards to go backwards into reverse, but it can take a little bit of learning. Trust me. Okay, let's go for a bit of a drive in the Hyundai Kona hybrid. Now, the thing you need to know is that it does have a petrol motor. It's also got an electric motor to assist things at times, and you will find that it will dip into EV mode quite a bit, this car. So particularly when you are coming up to a standstill at traffic lights, taking away from a standstill at traffic lights, or even just coasting on higher speed roads with light throttle, it will just dip into EV mode very regularly. And that's obviously what's going to help it use less petrol when it comes to the drive experience. Now, it'll indicate to you that it's in EV mode by a little light on the dashboard, and honestly, it's very smooth in the way that it interacts between petrol mode, electric mode, or a combination of the two, which you will get if you put your foot down. And when you do, it is pretty zippy. It's not necessarily a speed machine, but it's also not what I would call slow or sluggish to respond. The other element of the powertrain, obviously, is the transmission. It's a dual clutch automatic transmission, and in most instances, when you drive a dual clutch auto, it means that you end up with some kind of hesitancy at low speeds. So it can almost feel like you're riding the clutch a little bit. But in this car, it sort of overcomes that by using the electric motor, which is integrated into the transmission, to try and push you away with a level of smoothness. And it is pretty smooth when it comes to those lower speed maneuvers. Sure, you can feel the transmission working at times, but I don't think that it's annoying as far as I can tell anyway. Maybe it would be day to day if you're doing hundreds of kilometers a day in traffic. Maybe you're an Uber driver or a delivery driver or whatever, then maybe you might get a little bit frustrated by it. But as far as I can tell, it seems like a pretty good transmission, as I've found during this very short drive that I've been doing ahead of the launch of this car. Now, also, it is a pretty nice drive experience for the most part in terms of the dynamics of the car. I will say though that the brake pedal feel maybe isn't as linear as the petrol versions of this car. It just feels like it's got a bit of a wooden sort of feel to the top of the pedal in particular. Of course, it's got regenerative braking, so that's what is, I guess, interrupting the pedal feel a little bit. And you don't really notice it if you are just doing regular day-to-day sort of driving. You're just doing the commute style, low-speed traffic jam, stop-start stuff. But if you do call on the brakes a little bit more heavily, if you're coming into a corner with a bit more pace, you might find that the brake pedal just doesn't have the same sort of positive feel to it that you might want. Obviously, not everyone's going to drive this car fast or hard, so it might not matter to you at all. It might feel perfectly fine, and I could understand that. Now, speaking of perfectly fine, I reckon that the handling, the steering of this car is perfectly fine. Like the existing Kona petrol, as you've probably seen in my review of that car, it's good. It just handles itself quite nicely. It's got a good ride comfort to it, and the steering is also pretty nice as well. Now, there is an active lane keeping system in this car too. I turn it off pretty regularly when I drive most new models, and the same is the case here. Just hold the button down on the steering wheel to turn it off. Otherwise, it can push you around a little bit, especially at higher speeds on the freeway or highway. You might notice that it does get a little bit pushy. But otherwise, look, you can feel that there is a little bit of extra weight in the hybrid version compared to the petrol version. Obviously, it's got a battery pack as part of this whole drivetrain, and it's just a little bit heavier, but it's not like clumsy feeling, I don't think. So all told, I think that this car, the Kona Hybrid, is very nice. It's just really, really likable, apart from those safety systems, which, I mean, you're gonna waste time turning them off every single time you drive the car if you don't like them. I mean, if you're fine with them, cool. But for me, it'd be very annoying to live with this car on a day-to-day basis because I don't like those systems. I think they get in the way of what is otherwise a really good drive experience. Okay, let's talk about fuel efficiency. Look, this hasn't been my usual drive test, so I don't really think that the real-world fuel consumption figure that I'm going to show you in a sec is that representative of what you might achieve. But let's look at the official combined cycle fuel consumption figure for the Kona hybrid models. You'll see it on your screen now. That is phenomenal. If you can get that in day-to-day driving, you'll be very happy with your purchase, I'm sure. Now, when it comes to the comparison to the petrol models, I'll just throw that number up, the 2-litre petrol version, on your screen now, so you can make up your own mind whether it's worth spending $4 grand extra to get a slightly more fuel efficient version of the Kona. Now I'll show you what I've achieved over not a very long drive in this Kona hybrid that I'm testing right now. And again, this has just been not the usual sort of stuff I do, not the usual stop start and going to daycare drop off and that sort of thing. So maybe keep in mind that your numbers may vary compared to what I've seen on this test. At the time I'm filming this, there is no ANCAP safety rating for the Kona range, but there will be very shortly. Stay tuned for that. And look, all versions do come with a bunch of standard safety technology and equipment. In fact, that's one of the key things that is a focus for this new generation Kona range. There's a bunch of really good stuff, including autonomous emergency braking. You've got adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assistance, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, the whole lot. Like, it's got a whole bunch of stuff. If you choose one of the premium versions, you also get a blind spot view monitor and a surround view camera as well. But there are some annoying things. As I mentioned in the driving section, the driver attention warning system is very frustrating. So is the speed sign recognition system, and it often gets the speed signs wrong. So yeah, there's some things that maybe are there, but aren't maybe as user-friendly as they could be. Hyundai Australia offers a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is pretty good. There's also a battery warranty for the hybrid versions. You'll see the details on your screen now. And when it comes to servicing for the Hyundai Kona range, if you buy a hybrid, it's 12 months and 15,000 kilometres for the service intervals. Obviously, you might want to service it more regularly than that, but that's what Hyundai recommends. And the service pricing is $399 per visit for the first 5 years. So that does seem pretty good, although it is a fair bit more expensive than, say, a Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid when it comes to maintenance. Now, there's also roadside assist included, and if you choose one of the Kona hybrids that has connected services, you get a 5-year data plan for that too. There's also map updates for the sat-nav if you choose a model with built-in sat-nav as well. So there you have it, the Hyundai Kona Hybrid. I reckon it's a fantastic option for people who are looking for a compact and compelling small SUV option. Look, I honestly don't think if you can do without a few niceties that you should be spending up to the premium version, because the entry-level model seems to make a lot of sense for the money that's being asked. But tell me which one you would pick in the comment section below, or would you wait for the Kona Electric? Now, I've got a full detailed review on that one coming very soon as well. And if there's any other small SUVs or hybrids that you want me to test, let me know in the comments section and I'll get to them when I can. Thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.